All right, folks, it's another Friday here. In the Gregorian calendar, it's August 31st. So the ember months are almost here. I am Citizen Jones Usain. Today on the program, APC picks 14 governors, 18 ministers for Osun Governorship campaign. Sule Lamido vows not to defect if he loses PDP presidential primary, just as Dan Kwambo says his presidential ambition not a do-or-die affair. Femi Falana challenges Buhari over rule of law remarks, says courts must determine what constitutes threat to the nation or the state. And later on, Customs raises panel to probe 15,632 illegally imported military hardware. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, it's this is the Friday mood. I love it.
Yes. So
tells me you are ready for the long night. After the show?
What do you want to do differently today?
Jide, after the show.
Confess to this people.
Come on. Jide, after the show. Charles Ideo is also here.
Yes.
I told Charles, look, you people say, I don't know they carry last. Do they ever carry first?
Yes, of course we do.
I can't remember when last.
When I will carry last. No, I don't
remember when last we carry first.
No, Jide. No.
Okay, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then, you know, campaign rhetoric comes with every available means of persuasion and is what gives the politician the kicks. In our politically charged environment, a campaign atmosphere is a boon to so many interest groups. Osun State Governorship election is a mere 3 calendar weeks away on September 22nd. Ahead of the D-Day, the ruling APC is not leaving anything to chance. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State has been picked as the man to lead 13 other state governors plus 8 serving ministers as part of a 63-member high-powered National Campaign Council for the coming staggered election. APC National Chairman Comrade Adams Oshiomhole knows nothing is sure until the last ballot is counted and counts. This is for a staggered election.
Yeah.
So all roads will lead to your Osun State.
Has it defected?
No, he knows what
has it defected from?
So you people are turning to a nomadic
citizen.
Yes. You know, Oshiomhole described these defectors to PDP as migrant politicians.
Oh, boy.
But the people who have defected into his own party, they call them credible newcomers. So, when it is your party that they are defecting to,
you applaud them.
It's a good thing. When they are going elsewhere, they are migrants.
But what about leaving Kwara for Osun?
That's politics.
That's politics. Yeah,
It is politics.
Yes, he's a master of the spoken word. He knows when to drop those clangers in a manner that will hurt the opposition.
And they can't do anything.
That's why when you have an Oshiomhole as chairman, you don't even need
a spokesman.
You don't need a spokesman.
That's what we're saying.
Because he is going to overshadow
the image of the spokesperson.
Yes. Yeah. And if he even engages a spokesperson for himself,
he will defeat him.
He will end up doing the job for which he hired someone.
So that's why Yekini.
So at the end of the day, it's a waste of money.
You hardly hear Yekini. They are supposed to be right now.
Does that one exist?
You hardly hear Yekini.
So Osun, September 22nd, all roads will lead there. And so the APC appears to leave nothing to chance.
Yes. Oshiomhole's determination is that any state that he inherited, the APC must retain. That's what he has said to a lot of the people close to him. He's determined. He's brought so much energy to the job. We may not always agree with the way he speaks. Some of us think that he talks too much. And sometimes some of the things that he says are really not necessary. But you can't deny the fact that he's brought a hitherto missing vibrancy, a hitherto non-existent vibrancy. He's brought it back to the leadership of the party, and he has got everyone pulling in the same direction.
And maybe a sense of occasion.
A sense of occasion, a sense of urgency for the party to retain its history, to retain its past, because the APC's past is a good one. So he is doing his best to get the APC to retain its past. It is APC's most recent history that is a problem for most people. Because we all know how this party came in, you know, full of hope, and then suddenly bickering, internal bickerings between the leading lights of the party, threatened to consign it to the dustbin of history. But as you've seen, this man has come in, so much energy, is galvanizing everyone. Sometimes what you actually need at a particular time is just someone to galvanize everyone, get everyone to put in his shift. And that is what he's doing. You can see now what he has done. I saw some names on this list. I saw some names on this list that I know that Oshomole, he has had a lot of things that even within the APC, there are people struggling to make sure that APC does not win in Osun.
Oh, really? Work against the party, to work against
newspapers have reported that even some power blocks are in contention against one another, with this election in Osun providing an opportunity.
So you can excuse this high-power team. You don't consider it an overkill?
It's not an overkill. He has put some people there now, so that those people can prove wrong those who are saying that they are determined to not let their party win in Osun. So he's deliberately put some of those people there. And I had one of those people who been accused of struggling to ensure that Ogbeni is disgraced in Osun. I had one of them swearing by God and other deities.
Which one, the real God?
I don't swearing.
God, whichever one.
By the God that you and I are familiar with.
We know.
Swearing that, look, I'm going to war for the party. The party will win this election. Our party will.
But you should not be appalled by that, because in war all is fair.
And then in war too, you do not also want to open your flanks.
Okay.
To provide an opportunity for a chink in your armor.
Yeah.
For the enemy. So I understand now this man, as Oshomole has wisely put the people, some governors that there are question marks about their loyalty to the cause. He has put them on this list. Okay. So, and everyone will be watching.
Let's see they how have accepted to be on the list tells you they have no choice.
They have no choice. They have to accept. You belong to the party. Whatever they are doing that is not known to everyone, you know, whatever they are doing is not known to everyone. We can't even grab them by their arms and say, look, we caught you involved in anti-party activities. These are not things that are done on a nocturnal basis. But Oshomole has put such people on this list so that now it becomes a moral problem to not work for the candidacy of Oyetola in if you do not show up at meetings, if you are not seen to be pulling in the same direction as other people, then what those rumor mongers, because we can still call them rumor mongers now, what those rumor mongers are saying will now look
what they
like
were
reality.
mongering can be
what they were mongering. I'm going to tell my father for you.
Oh, come on.
that you taught me another one.
Charles, let's look at the man, the candidate to beat in Osun, if that's the phrase.
Well, for me, I think APC has every cause to want to use the sledgehammer.
To kill this fly.
Well, you ask Jide if it was not
you can actually use an artillery barrage to kill a fly.
Yes. It depends on how powerful that fly is.
Yes.
The fly may be small.
You can move away from using a sledgehammer to actually using an artillery barrage.
Okay.
The reason is very simple. A lot of politicians within APC in Osun, most of them seem not to have forgotten Aregbe Shola because of the, in quote, in position of, what's his name now, the current candidate, who was his chief of staff, right? If I remember correctly.
But it was direct primaries.
I'm telling you, but this are two. But what I'm saying first is that when you see...
or are you thinking aloud? Are you thinking aloud?
Whatever. The thing is that, of course, when you also see a candidate of the opponent not easily wished away, then you will use this kind of sledgehammer. Because no matter what everybody is talking about, this man has no education or something, but the man is also a factor.
Charismatic.
That's a delicate.
Yes.
Adeleke is a factor.
Charisma.
So you can't face
Adeleke easily dance himself to victory.
Honestly, because he's dancing people in the street, just like the Momo-eating governor of the other state. The man is very, very popular amongst the everyday people. It's not very, it may not be popular amongst the elite, because elites don't have to vote.
You can't wish away Omishere either.
I don't know. It's on, but I don't want to go the Omishere way for now. Yeah. You see, so it is going to be, for me, it's almost going to be like a two-horse race. Yes. Between the APC and the PDP, Adeleke. And then what APC also did, I'm sure it might also help them, was to bring the deputy governor from Osun West, where this man comes from. This man from Ikire also. So for Oshomole to raise this panel, it means that all is not well. Because if a state you have governed for 8 years,
all is not
means
well,
that it's not taking chances.
It's not taking chances. Yeah, okay, that's what I mean. Okay, not taking chances. But you know why? If, for instance, you have ruled a state you have led for 8 years, you are supposed to be at home. Right? You're supposed to be, but you are not at home now. You are bringing everything on the table to say we must not lose. Why is the fear of Oshomole
beginning?
Exactly. Why would he be afraid of losing Osun? It means that the other opponents are going to give them a run for their money. So what Oshomole is doing now is very right. It might pay off for him, because if they say, oh, we're already home at Osun, because after 8 years, it might be the pendulum might swing anywhere.
It's dangerous to think
outside the APC. So that's why it seems, as I said, is using, this is not even a sledgehammer, because it's the hammer that is well chosen because of the thing on ground.
They say,
honestly,
if a small boy insults a giant, say make you conquer, make him enter ground.
But you don't even know what is behind the small boy.
for the small boy to even come.
To even insult the giant.
Yoruba man will say.
Say it in Yoruba.
Omo ka lọ́wọ́ ló fẹ́ fi nà. Olóòka tó mú lọ́wọ́ lè ṣe nǹkan kan fún ọ. So ọmọ ẹni tó ṣe fún ni. Someone has a juju ring.
Okay.
He said he wants to
strike you.
You said it will not work. Do you know the person where do am?
How powerful that one is? How potent? So
and especially in Africa, in the African type democracy, where just about anything goes. We are looking at the elector now, because he is a factor in all of this at the end of the day.
It is his vote that will count.
Yeah, it is what the elector wants that prevails at the end of the day. The voters are everything. If you do not have the voters on your side, you are wasting your time. At the end of the day, you are going to lose the election. So it is the party with the best capacity to mobilize people, especially on election day. On election day, that is when you see lazy Nigerians, because many of them who boasted that they were going to vote on election day, they need people to go and get them out of their homes. And it's not even peculiar to Nigeria.
Voter education
in the US, they call it get out the vote. That's what they call it in the US. They will go volunteers, candidates hire volunteers to be going from door to door to remind people that that polling booth is waiting for you. Go and exercise your franchise. So the party that has the capacity, the biggest capacity to mobilize people to vote is the party that will carry the day. APC has shown from the direct primaries that it could muster more than 300,000 votes. But on election day, will they be able to get all of those people to come out and vote?
Thank you. So that's we must rest it at that point. But to the voter in Osun State, as they say in Yoruba, give me the word. We're speaking to Osun people.
In the voice of Adeloriman. ẹ jáde ẹ Edibo.
Edibo fún candidate.
Okay then, they don't get candidate in Europe. Okay then, you know, ambition, we are advised, should never be allowed to travel faster than the job at hand. Yet ambition in itself is not a bad thing, only when it becomes vaunting. Make no mistake about it, being president and commander-in-chief is not kiddie stuff. And so, ahead of 2019, as the race for Aso Rock Villa hots up, so also is the list of contestants swelling. Erstwhile Governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, has said he would not leave the opposition PDP should he lose the presidential primary. Meanwhile, Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo of Gombe State, himself another presidential hopeful, assures that his ambition to be #1 is not a do-or-die matter. But Jide power, they say, is the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yes.
Have you heard that before? It turns your head and it alters a lot of things in your system.
Honestly, Sule Lamido, in my view, is a fantastic specimen of a party man.
Okay.
Since 1999, Sule Lamido has not left the PDP. He is not only loyal to the PDP, he demonstrated his loyalty by building an estate in Duse, a housing estate that he named after the founding fathers of the PDP. Party. The founding fathers of the PDP.
I'm wondering the name.
Solomon La. No,
in an amalgam.
Yes, he called it the G22.
Oh, okay. Really? G34. That
G34. The group that formed the PDP.
G34.
Then he now named various different blocks
after
those leaders. Solomon La, all of them, you know. So he has never left the party. You know that even Bola Ige originally was in the PDP. In fact, the constitution of the PDP was actually written by Bola Ige. It was Baba Adebanjo that took Bola Ige out of the PDP. You know, they had the misunderstanding, and then he just grabbed him and took him out of the party. But Sule has refused to defect. I remember in 2013, somebody brought a news item here that Sule Lamido had joined other governors to defect from the PDP. And I said it there, and I said it's a lie. You know, I said this is not possible. He won't leave. I know him very well. He is gripped by nostalgia. Nostalgia of the PDP and his good early years. So he will not leave the party. So it's reassuring that in a season when people go and join another party because they could not win primaries of their own party, that someone is saying, look, whatever happens...
Talk about vaulting ambition.
Yes. Whatever happens, my ambition can be bigger than the party. Whatever happens, I'm staying behind. And I heard that even on Wednesday, the PDP leadership had a meeting with the presidential aspirants, because what everyone is saying is that PDP will implode after their presidential primaries because of the heavyweights that are all contending for this. So, but now they had the meeting with these guys, and a memorandum of understanding had been reached, whereby even if you don't win the primaries, you will not defect and you will work for the eventual winner. But one thing that I need to add is that if the party leaders do not organize a transparent primary, this agreement...
Or maybe a foolproof.
It has to be seen to be transparent, because when it's transparent, you have no excuse. Everyone will leave, oh, I'm well beaten. It's just like Manchester United being beaten 3-0 at home. Mourinho was tongue-tied. He had nothing to say.
No, the beating was sponsored. Leave that one.
By who?
Why didn't he?
By Tottenham.
Why didn't he unsponsor it? He should have unsponsored it.
And the referee also was bought off.
The man who likes to talk, who can really talk. Oh, yeah. He was, on that day,
they shut him up.
They buttoned up his mouth. So that is the thing. A transparent primary election will make everyone happy. But if you rig for a particular candidate,
the MOU is not avoided.
They will throw it away.
Honestly.
Charles, my own is tear the bag, look at, Sarake has just joined. So you are looking at a swelling number of hopefuls.
Yes, within the party.
Now, you talk about Governor Dankwambo of Gombe State. So it's, and then here's a loyal party man. If he does not win, as we have said, and in his estimation, the thing was openly fair. You don't see anything happening?
Well, I think talk as we may about PDP and its past and its recent past about the issue of infighting, impunity, but I think watchers of Nigerian politics begin to look as if PDP is beginning to do self-cleansing. For instance, for Sule Lamido to come out, as Jerry talked about nostalgia, I'm sure it's not new. What Sule Lamido has said now is not new in PDP. If you remember in 1998, when they had that primaries that took about 3 days in Jos, when Obasanjo eventually emerged, people like Ekweme and the rest of them, people thought they were agreed, they wanted to leave. But I remember what Ekweme said at the time, that he was not going to leave because he was going to work for whoever he met because it is their party. And ever since, between 1998 and 2003, that subsisted until who I will call strangers to the party came in and then took over the whole thing, and then the discipline decided. So, Sule Lamido, having said so, I think he's a man of honor. Even if it doesn't go well, I don't foresee him leaving. Because it's somebody who wants to write his name. He remains he has remained a PDP man over, even when you had this Modu Sheriff, all of them trying to tear the party apart, and he didn't take any side. If you look at all the, he didn't take any side.
He behaved like
an old man. He stayed. He was always working to make sure that they regain their footing, so that the party can move from where it was. Lame dog as it then was, to a vibrant party. Today now we're beginning to help PDP. The other day I posted on my website, who is giving PDP these chances to even talk? But we are given a chance to talk right now. Everybody even think about PDP, so it's also coming to reckoning. Yeah. So by his antecedent, by who he is, I don't, even if any other person might leave, if it doesn't go well, I don't see a Lamido who, of course, wants to beat his chest of being very loyal to the structure of the party, living there. Because he might want, as another statesman, and as also an elderly man, as also one of the leaders, he might want to also bring to bear on the party what is something that can endure. People can now copy and say, you must remain a party person.
I hear we have a Pius waiting. He's been provoked enough to join us. Pius, welcome.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Pius.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's the way
I'm coming from another tangent. Okay. You look at Governor Wike, Governor Seriake Dixon, and of course Governor Governor Fayose, and the impending primary.
Yes.
You don't see their input?
If you go by what happened at the convention of the party, then we should expect that these governors will have their way. Even in the PDP.
You mean their say or their way?
Well, both their way and their say.
Both. They will have their say, and their say will transmute to their way.
Okay.
So the governors have resources, no doubt about it. Governors are in charge of the delegates in their states. You know, APC is talking about direct primaries. The PDP, they are not even talking about
They are not doing it yet, yes.
So it's indirect that they are going to use. They are not getting involved in all these polemics about direct or indirect, how desirable
or straight or
so we know that delegates will choose eventual winners of primaries in the PDP. And if that is the case, who is in charge of these delegates?
The governors.
If it's in Abuja that they are going to have the primaries, who takes them? Who takes the delegates from their respective states
hotels
to Abuja? Who accommodates them? Who feeds them? Who greases their palms? It's the governors. The governors have deep pockets, and the one who has deep pockets has the capacity to do a lot of unthinkables. So these governors are still influential, and whoever they back they back wholeheartedly. As it happened in the case of Secondus, whoever they give their support to will be the one that carries the day. And they also have a way, they don't also like quarreling among themselves. You see that the PDP governors invariably, even if they are disagreeing at the beginning, they will have so many meetings and ensure that there is unanimity at the end of the day. Look at someone like Seriake Dixon. Seriake Dixon initially was backing a different candidate. Seriake Dixon wanted the chairmanship to go to the Southwest.
Okay.
You know, he has Southwest blood because he's related to them in Fidipote, in Ijebu-Ode.
Oh,
yes.
really?
Yes, it's maternal grandmother from Fidipote in Ijebu-Ode there. So he wanted this thing to go to the Southwest. I didn't know, probably. But at the end of the day,
he went to South.
The governors like Wike who wanted Secondus, they now began to say, and Secondus is an Ijaw like Seriake. So they began to blackmail Seriake that, look, you an Ijaw man, you saw an Ijaw man on the ballot. You don't want to support an Ijaw man. A good chance for an Ijaw man to become chairman of PDP. In the end, Seriake was effectively blackmailed, and he joined his colleagues in supporting.
So that is politics.
It's politics.
Horse trading.
Exactly, that's politics. You may disagree.
At the end of the day, what is the long and short of what we are saying? The governors had their way. The governors had their way, though the other power blocks in the party had their say.
Yes.
The governors had their
way. But it didn't cause an implosion, which is why we're talking about building a system that can endure.
What can cause
you know?
Charles, do you know when the PDP primary is coming up?
Oh, I don't think I'm not.
We don't have a.
No, we don't have any.
All parties are doing this,
but I think they are waiting.
They are watching one another.
They are waiting to know where the pendulum.
Because what happened in December 2014 is a lesson. PDP had their primaries, and after that,
APC had theirs.
APC fed off the carcass of the PDP primaries. That was what happened. People like Otom had lost the primaries in their party, in PDP then, and then they gave him an opportunity, and it became. APC knew that it was not as popular as the PDP. He knew that he needed to grab some powerful people within the PDP
to bring their platforms,
to make their own party stronger, and that's why you will find that some of the governors today, people like Atiku Bagudu in Kebbi, people like Otom, they were originally in the PDP. But after the primaries in December 2014, they changed camp.
Immediately.
And they were elected.
And they became popular amongst them.
All right, let's quickly take Sam. Sam is here in Lagos. Sam, I greet you. Good evening. Hello, Sam. Are you there?
Good evening, Mr. Johnson.
I greet you, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm
Good
fine,
evening.
and you?
Good. We praise God. Abajide, I salute you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All guys, remain blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is becoming so interesting. Now it's sounding more like the APC PDP team again.
Yes.
So it's now like change.
Yeah.
And then it seems the ideology thing is gradually going back to the back burner. Yes. Wala deo. Now let's even look at it going forward. Babajide, if you are to look at all the guys, declaring interest in becoming flag bearer, let's put it that way. Okay, in the PDP as we speak. Senate President Bukola Saraki, Kwakwanso, Lamido,
Atiku,
the Turaki Adama himself, and I'm sure even as this my youth or Sokoto,
Tamboa.
Has Tamboa declared interest in the race?
Yes, he has picked the form. He just picked the form.
He don't buy the form.
Three more guys.
Yes.
Okay, coming on board. if we are to end up and it becomes the same old story of change, as far as PDP is concerned, who do you think will just be the one we feel manage? Let me put it that way.
Sam, now you go tell us.
Not be us.
Our job, we know the guests here.
We don't get candidate.
The thing is, even the decision of the governors.
Thank you, Sam, for calling.
The decision of the governors can effectively throw all your permutations.
Yes, everywhere. That's right. Because you really can't say.
We can judge people by capacity.
You know?
We can judge people by capacity.
You
can judge people by the resources at their disposal. Because the resources, capacity, they are important.
Very important.
We can judge people by fan base.
Their antecedent too.
Fan base. How popular are they with the masses?
Yes.
It's easy to look at all these PDP aspirants and say this one has.
By the way, that thing that happened over the weekend at Kano Stadium is instructive.
It's instructive, but the guy has support across the north. So, and if it happened in Kano alone, it would be excited. At least they didn't do it in Sokoto. They didn't do it in Kebbi. So his support base is not limited.
It's not limited to that Kano.
I went to the Yoruba Tennis Club to give a speech on security the other day.
You gave it in Yoruba?
No, it's English in Yoruba.
No, sorry, I wanted to be sure, Yes.
And I saw Kwangwaso supporters.
Oh, really? Even there?
Yes, with their red caps. And they are Yorubas.
Kwangwasia.
They are Yorubas. They are not even, they are Yorubas. So he has support across the country. Remember, when something happens in Ile-Ife, he will rush there.
Rush over there.
He is doing that so that people will like him. When something happens in My 12, he will run there.
And
that's how you build.
I hear say he get Yoruba blood. I don't know.
No, the only thing they said is his name is named after Okonkwo son, Okonkwo and sons, Okonkwo sin. They say easy to her too.
That one.
Okonkwo and son, Okonkwo sin.
It's a lie. It's a lie. That's a name taken from
his village. It's his village.
Let's Charles. This.
Okay.
Both Lamido and Dan Kwambo are saying, "Come rain, come shine." I remain stoic.
Yes.
Mine is not a do or die affair. Yes. Do you always believe them?
Well, you can say there are. Don't let's make it a blanket condemnation.
I'm asking, do you always believe?
If we say don't believe, but there are some people we need to believe.
Okay.
Dan Kwambo himself, I also followed his politics. Well, I mean, quite a young man who has done well in public service, and I mean, I look.
Former Accountant General Federation.
So I've looked at.
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest.
Youngest Accountant
so
General.
I looked at him. I look at what he's doing. The man, even himself, even if he doesn't win, I'm sure because the man what he has done in Gombe by transforming Gombe State. Building even the issue of human capital development. I don't see that man as somebody who is going to be all out to say if I get it or everybody goes to hell. No. So himself, Sule Lamido, I personally can vouch for them based on their antecedent. I can't say such of some other people within their ranks because you have looked at the antecedent of what they have done, how they are shortcut even where they were coming from.
All right.
But I'm prepared to believe some of them, but not all of them.
All right. Me, I'm constrained to believe you.
Okay, believe me for believing
for
them.
once.
Okay.
All right then, again, let the debate continue. Do you foresee the PDP having a smooth primary? We'll leave it to the party. Now, still to come, Femi Falana challenges Buhari over rule of law remarks. He says courts must determine what constitutes a threat to the nation or to the state. Please stay tuned. All right, then, whereas it is incontrovertible that the basis for democracy is the rule of law, it is not open to debate that any country stands not on any vested interest, but on national interest. A debate about which overlaps the other would be a most hair-splitting exercise. President Muhammadu Buhari may have stepped on the tiger's tail the other day at the Nigerian Bar Association event, when he posited he would defend to the end of the earth the national interest. even if it impinged on the rule of law. The debate is expanding. Human rights attorney Femi Falana has taken the president to task over the rule of law remarks of the other day, but believes the court of law is constitutionally positioned to determine what constitutes a threat to the state. What constitutes a threat to the state, Jide?
Yeah, if for example, you are arrested for treason, if you take up arms against your state, then you can expect that the state will move against you. At that point, you can...
Even while defending your right to free expression.
Well,
freedom
it's limited. It's also limited.
Even the right to free expression
have limitations.
Has limitations.
Yes.
If you go about inciting the people, inciting the people to take up arms against the state, I mean, you can constitute a security risk. And when the country is not at peace, even you can't be at peace. That's the point that the Supreme Court made in that case involving Asari. That even you can't be at peace if the country is falling into pieces. If the country is falling apart, you can't be at peace. So national interest is important. And what the president said at that time was there has already been a judicial pronouncement along that line. And it's not only in Nigeria that national security takes preeminence over personal liberty. There is already a Latin maxim that says, salis populi suprema lex. Salis populi suprema lex, which means that the law of the society takes precedence over personal liberty.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So I think why the president has invited all kinds of flags to himself is the occasion that he chose to say these things. He went before lawyers.
Eggheads.
Yes, and he began to say, look, this thing, national interest takes precedence over personal liberty or rule of law, as the case may be. You do not expect people to hear that and not be worried. The president's background as a former military officer, and when people remember what he did with Decree 2 and Decree 4 at that time, they would think that, oh, if this man gets a second term, is this what he's going to do? And that's the fear that Soyinka is expressing, that he's done it before, that he is going to do it again. So he has provided some ammunition for people who want to demarcate him by the occasion he chose. Honestly, if he said it at another fora, it won't generate this kind of...
Jide, but let's look at it again. Is it a function of who wrote the speech or a president who left his speech?
No. It was in the speech.
So the man or the people who wrote the text would have been informed enough. After all, I know the Attorney General is a lawyer. He's a man
and the Attorney General was the first person to say, look, he came out to explain why Dasuki will not be set free, despite the ruling of the Supreme Court. Many people had waited. The ECOWAS court had ruled that they should leave him alone, but they said, the ECOWAS court has not got jurisdiction over Nigeria, so they kept him there. Now, many people had thought that once the Supreme Court gives its judgment, that the judgment will be obeyed. It is dangerous for us as a nation for the Supreme Court to give a judgment and then we will refuse to obey. All that the government needs to do is tell the Supreme Court that we are doing this for these reasons and provide compelling evidence.
Yeah.
We can't encourage a situation in which the final court in our country will give judgment and the government will choose to not obey the judgment. It's something that bothers people. It's something that frightens people. And I can understand why they are thinking that the government has something to hide, that the government will probably use this against its opponents.
Yeah. now, Charles, is a matter of interpretation. Okay. Femi Falana is saying, look, let the court make that determination. But the president quoted the Supreme Court. He said, a judgment of the Supreme Court which says, inter alia, let me quote the judgment, rule of law must be subject to the supremacy of the nation's security and national interest.
Let's place them side by side.
Yeah. Mine is both national interest and rule of law are
complementary. Something to complement.
Are mutually inclusive.
That's right. So, but if you want to look at from the president's point of view, I don't think he meant to want to reduce the supremacy of the rule of law. Because when you look at when he said that, even in his case, this issue of fighting against corruption, judges are usually at his problem, the most problem, right? Giving him the most problems. He wanted, here's a man who just came in, made so much promises. He wants to write his name in gold. But he's being hampered by certain things that he wished this could be done without this. For instance, the Asari Dokubo mentioned, if Asari Dokubo, for instance, comes with all the armory, and then it's a threat to Nigeria, nobody will remember whether there are laws. We first of all fight our internal security before we talk about the rule of law, which is where I think the president is coming from. Again, maybe the language wasn't properly delivered, which is why we're having problems that we're having now. But again, it's also very important to state here that when we begin to give vent to this issue of national interest, we are going to be working towards anarchy. Because national interest will be determined by who looks at it. It's subjective. Which is why before the Magna Carta, which was what gave rise to Magna Carta.
Cascade to the state level.
Where everywhere.
The governor will say, no.
For instance, before the Magna Carta of, was it 1512, there was this Samuel Roseford, a Scottish theologian, who talked about, as at that time, the kings were ruling by divine inspiration. So a king could wake up in the morning to say, Josusen, you are against national interest, and they pick you up. But the man said, no, we can't begin to look at, because nobody is there when God is talking. So let us come up with a body of laws which will help us.
Okay,
which is what we came up with.
Again, as we do on this table, we provoke the debate, let the debate continue. But you and I are in agreement that where your right stops is where mine begins. Now, next to narcotics, the illegal arms trade poses a most potent danger to mankind. The proliferation of small rifles and firearms across the country continues with very little or nothing done to stem the tide. Comptroller General of Customs Hamid Ali has inaugurated what he termed a high-powered investigation panel to conduct a thorough search for those connected to the illegal importation of military hardware, and this is coming from a number of eye-popping seizures by men of the Customs and Excise over the months. Now, two 40-foot containers holding 15,632 units of different rifles and camouflage is a hefty cache.
Very hefty.
Yeah.
Hefty one.
And also very scary. Scary too.
Sometimes I ask myself,
how did we get here?
I know that they ship them in from Europe. My biggest concern, the question that I would like to ask is, where are they taking them to? And to what end? Because
if they are military, should the military high command not be aware, not be involved?
Yes, they look like they're actually military uniforms, but other people outside of the armed forces, outside of the personnel of the armed forces, want to use those.
And for what purpose?
Yes.
That was scary.
And because these things are illegally imported. If the army wants you, they give you a contract to shipping camouflage, all the certificates that you need, the documentation that you need to facilitate bringing in of this thing and clearing it will be provided. But in this case, these guys bring in these things, firstly declare the content, and then when they are seized, nobody shows up to say, look, this belongs to me.
They'll withdraw.
So the end user certificate are falsified. because the end user certificate accompanying the goods are falsified, you hit a dead end in identifying.
No vex, so maybe I dey ask as a novice where I be in these matters. Don't we have pre-shipment inspection anymore?
Of course.
We are talking about things brought into our country.
It's supposed to be pre-inspected. Supposed to be pre-inspected
over there.
Yes, exactly. At the originating,
I don't know.
At the sources.
Because this is military, military hardware.
Yes. We had a bilateral trade.
Don't forget that even when it was guns the other day, that we saw that guns were being brought in and heading for Turkey. Our president had to bring it up with the president of Turkey. That what is happening? That we keep seizing guns.
Presumably from your country.
Yes, because the documentation will show that it is heading for Turkey. So the president brought it up based on the complaint that
why are we a transit camp for it?
Maybe because they've seen that our system is loose. Let me tell you, despite the hours and days that they spend doing 100% inspection in our ports, a lot of these things were not seized at the ports. A lot of these seizures were made on the highway. Owerri, on the Owerri highway, Aba Port Harcourt Road.
And I tell you what happened when they no agree pay well.
Maybe that's when someone will now say, look, okay, there is a 40-foot container coming. This is the color of the vehicle.
We will not blow the whistle.
Yeah. Because even the last one for which a customs officer was arrested the other day, that's when they brought in this pump action. It was outside of the port that the arrests were made.
After it had been
escaped. So what is the point? We say we do 100% inspection. Yet the cargo was still able to escape from the...
Charles, mine is, we are talking about this to the exclusion of those who would have escaped without being identified.
But I think it's a very high-powered network. You know, you did mention something about those people, the certificate, they are all falsified. There's no way they can successfully operate without the complicity, without the having the insider head.
Imagine if it was the customs of the other day.
Oh, imagine that. Thank God for this current regime. So there's no way they can successfully do that without insider assistance. So this pre-shipment you talk about now, even when they are done, question is that, are they people who are involved, are they above board? And these are people from the same society. So if, for instance, you pay very, very heavily, then you get,
maybe the pre-inspection is not total.
Because they do random. In most cases, they also do random.
Yes, remember we said that these things, the contents are usually falsely declared.
Yes, exactly.
So if someone says randomly that, what we have here is a baby formula.
They just check 1, 2, 3.
They just check a few pallets and then
that's the pre-shipment. Pre-shipment is not supposed to bring everything down.
When you're supposed to subject each cargo through what do you call this?
Scanner.
We do not have scanners in the ports.
That's because
don't report that.
No, but that's real.
Ahmed Ali admitted
it's real.
Whereas what 15 persons will check for 24 hours? A scanner under 10 minutes.
We're not telling you just run and then we tell you all the details. Give you the details of what it contains. So, but it's very scary, particularly as the elections are upon us, where you use issue of using criminal-minded people
posting our security agencies.
Because sometimes when I'm traveling on my way to Benin, when I see, we see them from afar wearing. The question I ask is that, are these ones genuinely? I mean, are they genuine or they are criminals?
I know you have all had it.
You know?
400 pairs of military camouflage.
Camouflage, yes.
620 sets of uniforms and caps.
Yes.
You have 10,000 pieces of inner military T-shirts.
T-shirts, exactly.
And
you have
512 pairs of jungle boots. So it's a big deal.
That's what I'm saying.
Going to war.
So, and
but when you see some of those things, some of those camouflages are a little bit different.
Different from the military.
From what we wear.
Okay. Exactly.
You know, in the Northeast, for example, the camouflage that they wear is light brown. So that
because of the
meshes
weather. With the vegetation.
The vegetation meshes with the desert
vegetation,
and all that. So, but you see that some of what they are parading, the colors are darker than what we use. The colors are darker. So it's not difficult to identify this, that this is not.
I can only hope, gentlemen, that somebody in the foreseeable future will tell all of us here that they were meant for another country.
But it's also, I believe that even Boko Haram could actually be
involved, right?
Be involved in this, because our guys that were killed in Jili,
were killed by guys in military uniform.
So they thought that they were people who were going to present, because these guys had just come into the town, come into the base. They were yet to even be presented with their weapons. So they thought that these guys had come to hand over to them, present them the much awaited weapons, and they just opened fire on them. So Boko Haram consistently wears army uniform. If you hear the stories of victims, they will say, look, we thought they were soldiers. We thought they came to our town to help us. But they just opened fire. So nobody knows where these weapons, these uniforms are headed. But I know that Boko Haram, even the herdsmen militia, sometimes they wear army uniform.
Yes, right.
So it's difficult to know whether they are murderers or...
I think what the customs of authorities should do now is that wherever these things are
taking it home now.
Wherever this, if for instance it passes through Apapa, passes through Tinkan, and is released, and it has been determined that it passed through there, the people through whom it passed will also be dealt with. That's exactly where you can start curtailing it.
If you can identify them.
No. What I'm saying first is that did it pass to Apapa, for instance? We should be able to know who were for that week, who were on duty.
The arrests were made even...
It's not difficult to
arrests were made over the seizure of the pump-action rifles.
Yeah.
What we want to see is that those arrested are brought to
book. And
foreigners are involved in this shipment of
this
into our country. They should also be brought to book. I know that up to now, the customs, they don't really know where this is coming from. And they are worried. So we just hope that invariably we'll be able to put an end to this.
Sometimes the viewer must appreciate our perplexity at this table. We are humans. And let the debate continue. But please stop asking how did we get here? We got here by road.
By plane too. By air.
Charles is trying to encourage us by water.
By water too. Through the lagoons.
Charles, enjoy your weekend. Send the bills to us.
We start here with Momo and
Jide, enjoy your weekend.
You know the one is
going nowhere.
No, Pepet Momo outside.
You are going nowhere.
All right, folks, that will just about do it for today and the week. And also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms that will show on your screen at the moment, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Bless you.